Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. And we'll just wait for a few folks to come on here. And hello, Brahim. You are number one. Oregon, right? Nativity, good morning. And Wendy, good morning. And Mike from Norland, good morning to you. John from Elgin, Illinois, good morning, John. Nick from our staff. Rosa, good morning to you. And Sandra from Aurelia. Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. Kevin, Oshawa, right? Dorita, good morning. Donna. Colleen, Alberta, bright and early. Our friend Mary Jane from Connecticut. And Sam from Florida. Good morning. Linda. Zienne. Bonjour. Wendy from Markham. Good morning. Morris, North Bay. And Mary from Ontario. Catherine from Newfoundland. Debbie, good morning. Helen, good morning. She says, I'll watch you later. Okay, Jeanette from our staff. Maria, how are you? Linda, another Linda from Pennsylvania. Touchwood, Saskatchewan, good morning. Anne, Tecumseh. And Maria, hold on, I think I said that wrong. Michelle, and Jackie, and Lise. And so many on. Good morning, another Diane. Deb from Timmins, Lorraine, BC. Okay, I got to clean my glasses. I can't see. Now, this morning, okay, we're going to talk about what do you do? What will cause you to die young? Okay, so it's really early mortality rates, okay? Often in medicine, when you read studies, they'll talk about early mortality rates, okay? And obviously, these are just statistics, okay? We don't live on statistics only, but these are just things that will surprise you. They will surprise you. Well, not maybe so much you guys, because you hear this all the time. But this is a 30-year comprehensive Framingham study that looks at mortality. People that die young, generally, what's the problem? Now, we're not talking about car accidents or whatever. We're not talking about that. We're talking about health issues, diseases, conditions that people who die young have in common. Okay, that's what this 30-year study did. I think it will vindicate what I have been saying to you for the last several years, either on my radio show or on this Facebook and podcasts. Been very consistent. And the 30-year study on early mortality will surprise the world, but it won't surprise you. It'll surprise the world, but it won't surprise you. Here are common denominators in people that die young. Common denominators of people that die young. Early mortality. Okay? Now, I'm not going to do these necessarily in order of frequency, but we are going to touch them point by point. Number one that I've written down, people die young that have low cholesterol. People die young that have low cholesterol. It's a common denominator. And again, the world says something completely different. Medicine, hook, line, and sinker, even today, is hung up on cholesterol being the cause of heart disease. The premise was never right. I was reading something this weekend by a fella by the name, he wrote it in 1955. His name was Dr. John Goffman, Goffman, a medical doctor in 1955, wrote an article and says that triglycerides are extremely dangerous for heart disease, not, listen to what he said, 1955, not cholesterol. But the world, even starting in the 50s, really took root at the end of the 50s when the President Eisenhower died of a heart attack, and they blamed it on cholesterol. A fellow by the name of Ancel Keys, one man, really turned the ship in the direction of cholesterol, and the rest is history, really. It's been a disaster of heart disease. And what people, in those days, in the late 1950s, is what they didn't realize. I know it's hard to believe this, but it's true. In the 1950s, what they didn't know was how bad cigarettes were for you. Okay? Ancel Keys talked about cholesterol, but what they didn't know was, President Eisenhower was smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day. And that was gumming up his arteries. Okay? But people got the memo, generally, not to smoke. You know that. From the 1980s, really, on. Some in the 70s, but mostly in the 80s, people got the memo. But here we are today, and heart disease is still, neck and neck with cancer, killing people. 50% of the population have some form of heart disease. It's craziness. And in 1955, people didn't listen to this Dr. Goffman because the food industry started to get involved, and then the pharmaceutical industry, and they made a terrible pair together. Because the pharmaceutical industry, on the basis of bad science, started to develop cholesterol-lowering medications called statin drugs. And I have pontificated many a time. I don't think there's a week go by that I don't talk about this. It's been the biggest deception, maybe of all time, when it comes to our health. The lowering of cholesterol. You want to have low cholesterol and give everybody a high five? Then you're going to die young, according to this 30-year Framingham study. Cholesterol. You need cholesterol. There's no bad cholesterol. It's not the boogeyman. Okay? I'm sorry, it's not. 85% of your cholesterol, just to remind you folks, comes from inside your body. Your liver makes cholesterol. And you know my expression, God doesn't trust you enough to eat enough cholesterol that your body makes it. You can't live without it. And imagine getting something like this wrong and then fooling the whole world, especially in North America. You talk about overrated is cholesterol. And folks, if you want me to look at your blood work, don't ask me to look at your total cholesterol. I won't do it. You can send it to me. You can paint it in red. You can put it in big circles. I don't care because it doesn't matter. I got my cholesterol down. So what? Why do you want to kill yourself? That's suicide. Slow. Your brain is made up of cholesterol. Your cells are made up of cholesterol. Cholesterol. Okay? Early mortality statistics. If you want to die young, then have high triglycerides, not high cholesterol. High triglycerides, 3 fat balls made from sugar. You want to die young? Have high triglycerides. And triglycerides are made from food. And the problem with high triglycerides, when your triglycerides are high, then your HDL, your high density lipoprotein cholesterol will be low. It's almost invariable. You got high triglycerides, you will have low cholesterol. The HDL one. That's the one I'm looking at. It's a recipe for disaster. High triglycerides and low HDL. Like I've explained to you in the past, like a teeter-totter. If your HDL is up, your triglycerides will be down. If your triglycerides are up, your HDL will be down. It's just, they're supposed to be like this. Actually, I like HDL to be higher than your triglycerides. Okay? But it's like a teeter-totter. You get it? And that is a huge predictor of death. Huge predictor. And imagine, it's controlled by food. You want to get your triglycerides to go up, which you don't, but if you did, just eat sugar. Just eat sugar. Not steak. Oh, don't cook your food in butter. You're cooking your food in butter? That's a bad oil. Here we are in 2021, and I can quote you some of the leading dietitians, some of the leading cardiologists. And by the way, in general, when have the cardiologists ever been right? They're wrong about cholesterol. They're wrong about butter. They're wrong about a low-fat diet. I mean, they're wrong about, oils. They're wrong about statin drugs. Cardiologists look for love in all the wrong places. It's based on, and I'm not saying they're no good. You have a heart attack, you need a cardiologist, not me. I'm just trying to get you not to have a heart attack. Okay? I mean, they're not stupid people, they're very smart. But it just shows you the hijacking. The hijacking of medicine by Big Pharma. They've got doctors hung up on LDL cholesterol. And I won't even look at it. You can't make me like LDL. I can't. Because it don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's your triglycerides and HDL. Okay? So you guys should know that by heart. Know it by heart. Want to die young? Then get low cholesterol. You want to die young, number 2? Get low levels of vitamin D. Listen, study came out this weekend. Here we are, 18 months or more into a virus, but listen to what this statistic said, okay? People that were very ill with the virus had low levels of vitamin D, and we even got some numbers, okay? Because they've said low levels of vitamin D, but here is, after 18 months and looking at all these, when people in the US of A were under 60, actually under 50, people that died and got very sick from COVID, were hospitalized, had low levels of vitamin D. And it was, not as low as some people thought, in the sense that, like, if you were under 50 or 60 in Canada, okay, 60 in the United States is equivalent to 150 in Canada vitamin D levels. Okay, your dehydroxy 25. And you know me, so I've always said, get your vitamin D levels up. Vitamin D, you are a human solar panel. Every cell in your body, including your T cells. T cells are your Navy SEALs of your immune system. There's nothing like a T cell that will fight bacteria and viruses and cancer cells. And they operate on the sun. So if you don't like the sun, you're in deep doo-doo, if you know what that means. If you don't like the sun, you're in trouble, according to these studies. Having low levels of vitamin D is extremely dangerous. It's not just for your bones, it's for everything, and especially for your immune system. People that die young have low levels of vitamin D. Not high. Not high, low levels of vitamin D. Viderma. I've said it a million times, and I'll probably, Lord willing, if he keeps me on the planet, I will say it another million times. You need Viderma, the Martin Clinic name for vitamin D. Viderma. Don't you like it? You know, look, and if you can't get the sun, and you know what gives me a splitting headache? Is when people, online or whatever, they start arguing about vitamin D. Okay? It's overrated and you got to be careful. And vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. And you can croak on too much vitamin D. I haven't heard one. You can croak on too much water, too. It's possible. There's more people, okay? Listen to what I'm going to say. There's more people that died from drinking too much water than from taking too much vitamin D. Well, first of all, if you get your vitamin D from the sun, you can't take too much. You can take too much sun to burn, but you can't take too much vitamin D. Your body tops off. You get 10,000 international units in 15 to 20 minutes in the sun with no sunscreen. You want to die young? Use sunscreen. Oh, Dr. Martin, I'm going to have nice skin. Hollywood stars say they never go in the sun. Oh, yeah? They get old, too. And they're the dermatologist's best friends. I never seen so many older Hollywood stars that have as much Botox in their system. My word. So here's these studies. Okay? And so what Framingham does, they take all the studies and they review them. And there's no money in it for them. So, whatever the research shows, they report. That's it. Like they're not making money. They're not sponsored by the pharmaceutical associations or companies, I mean. So they just give you statistics, and I'm unpacking them for you. Cholesterol. You want to die young? Have low cholesterol. And the 15%, by the way, that you got to make up. Repetition. Cholesterol in food is only found in the animal kingdom. It's not in plants. It's not in fruit. It's not in bread. Cholesterol's not in bread. Triglycerides are in bread. Because when you eat bread, they turn to sugar, and sugar will up your triglycerides and lower your cholesterol. You need to eat eggs, cholesterol, meat, cholesterol, and cheese, cholesterol. You got to make up that 15%. That's your responsibility. So when someone around you tries to convince you, and it's coming to a theater near you, if it hasn't hit your family yet, because of the indoctrination, they're going to try and convince you not to eat animal products. Oh, they're no good for you. They're acidic. They cause cancer. Do you mean, Dr. Martin, that meat is good for you? Red meat? Come on. Yeah, it's the superfood. Are you saying, Dr. Martin, I can have 50 eggs a week? You can have more than that. You want 100? Take 100. What is it going to do? Well, it's just going to make you healthier. I'm very, like, you think I'm narrow-minded, but I'm just telling you the science. You do not get cholesterol in the plant kingdom. It's not there. I'm not saying plants are no good. I'm just telling you, cholesterol is found in animal product. So you want to die young? Be a vegetarian. You want to die young? Be a vegan. On these mortality studies, I'm sorry. Number 3, but it doesn't have to be, like I said, it's not in order, guys. I'm just telling you stats. You want to die young? Develop sarcopenia. What's that? Muscle wasting. You want to be healthy? Sun, steak, and steel. What do I mean by steel? Weights. You want to die young? Have sarcopenia. I see people walking around like they're dead people walking. Oh, I don't have any obesity. I'm skinny. Yeah, but you got no muscle. Sarcopenia is a direct result of low protein. Okay? Now remember, you have 3 macros. Nutrition 101. You have 3 macros. You have protein, you have fat, and you have carbohydrates. The only thing carbohydrate does, and I've taught you this in the past, is produce fuel. Okay? It doesn't build anything except fat. You want muscle? You need to eat protein. And again, if you go from the 1950s and then really caught on by the late 60s, early 70s, remember, my degree in nutrition, a big part of it was the history of food. And I've tried to be very consistent in my teaching on how the stupidity of fat-free. But again, it started with cholesterol. Then they brought it to, the food industry wasn't stupid. They brought it to weight loss. And unfortunately, in a way, okay, I'm in the healthcare field, okay? People would much rather lose weight as their goal than their health, primarily. And again, I'm not against weight loss, okay? Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But a lot of people are upside down. They don't have that priority first. I want to be healthy. Because if you look at the criticism of the reset, the 30-day program, the biggest criticism is when people don't lose weight fast enough. That's their often was their motivation for starting it. And that's all right, because if you're going to lose weight, I want to give you a healthy weight loss program. And it's not calories. It has everything to do with fuel you're eating. But my primary goal was never weight loss. I mean, every diet that's been created generally is for weight loss. The reset isn't for weight loss. That is a byproduct of fixing insulin resistance. But the reason I'm saying that is that when people go back, you can go back 50 years at least, and the whole premise of weight loss has been calories. And therefore, you better eliminate fat and be careful with protein. And you better eat lean meat and lean yogurt and lean everything and fat-free this and fat-free that. Fat-free. Go to the grocery store. Oh, here's low-fat cheese. Well, why do you want to eat low-fat cheese for? It's not cheese. Oh, Dr. Martin, I'm eating low-fat yogurt. Well, that's stupid. Why do you want to do low-fat? But you see, the food industry, it was all to do with marketing and weight loss. And millions and millions and millions of people got duped. Duped to eating fat-free. And when they eat fat-free and they eat lower protein because of calories, they get sarcopenia because protein is the king of the castle. And carbs are the dirty rascal. Not fat. Okay? Not fat. You want to die young? Have low muscle. Low muscle. Now, some people are tiny by nature, and they're calling me to gain weight. I said, well, I don't want you to gain weight. I want you to gain muscle. Be strong. Be a greyhound. Have you ever seen a greyhound dog? I mean, a few years back, I went to the racetrack and, dog racing. And I was able to go downstairs where they keep those dogs. Okay. And I couldn't believe how lean they are. They are the leanest things. You can see every muscle in them. But they're strong. And they are explosive fast. Okay? You want to be lean if you can, but strong. Strong. And you need protein for that. And like I said, it's been the duped, because of this fat and cholesterol, and people are, I got to keep my calories down. Has nothing to do with calories. This may be a 2-part series. Mortality rates. Don't get sarcopenia. Don't get sarcopenia. And one of the things that I see a lot are people that are bigger, even obesity, and have sarcopenia. They don't have any muscle. And they're in trouble. And I've told you about the connection. I'll just leave it there. We'll end with this for today. I told you about the connection. I've told you in the past. Get your legs strong. Strong legs, strong brain. People that get dementia and Alzheimer's, by and large, have weak legs. Anytime I do leg day, I think of my brain. There's a real connection there. Okay? You can probably go to an older podcast and find that's the studies I was talking about back then, even with brain and legs, the connection, the strength of your legs. Okay. I think we'll continue this tomorrow. Okay? So, if you have any questions, now, I haven't figured out, okay, just at the end of this, whether we are going to do a program on Friday. I might have question and answer Thursday. Okay, I'll let you know as the week develops. Okay? As the week develops. If you're not a member of the Martin Clinic private Facebook group, please join us. Okay, we'd love to have you part of that community. 2, if you don't get the podcast, you can get them on your smartphone. Okay? So you can have it downloaded. Sign up at martinclinic.com. And while you are there, sign up for our emails. Okay? Couple of times a week, we send out emails. If you're not on our email list, make sure you get on. Okay? So, guys, we love you. Talk to you soon.